Hey folks, welcome back. So recently I've been covering the 3x3x7 series of cuboids, mainly from WitEden with a bit of fanshin in there. Now, more for completion's sake rather than anything else, I thought I'd do a third video just featuring the 3x3x6 and 3x3x7. I've already talked a bit about the 3x3x7, so you know that it's a very, very good puzzle that I recommend. But I thought I'd do a quick solve of each one, again, just to complete the series and just to show you really up close and personal how they work in practice. The 3x3x6 is also a very, very good puzzle, highly recommended. It is just essentially an extended version of the 3x3x2 again. So it depends on what you think of higher order puzzles. I personally really enjoy them a lot. So these two guys are among my favorite puzzles at the moment, actually. And I do solve them quite a bit, but it depends on your taste. If you prefer a quicker solve that has pretty much the same ingredients, then you might prefer having the 3x3x4 and 5 rather than the 6 and 7, or maybe get all of them. Why not? But just in case, for those of you who are looking to add to your cuboid collection, I figured I'd show them off quick. I'm not going to really do a big walkthrough thing like I did with the other solves, but just do a fairly quick run through, again showing the basics, and hopefully that'll be enough to give you an idea of the puzzles themselves. So we'll start with the 3x3x6. You can see a nice green box. I'm not sure if the colors mean anything with these puzzles. I'm not really sure that they do. I think they are also some center shifted eye cuboids for these that can actually shapeshift. Yeah, here we go. So there's a 1688 cube 3x3x6 2, and you can see the center is in this weird place, so they can actually shapeshift a bit. This one is a centrosymmetric, fully proportional 3x3x6, so it does not shapeshift, and that, in my opinion, is the way it should be. But having said that, I do plan to check out some of these eye cuboids at some point, because I don't have any. And that might be, that maybe it turns out I really enjoy solving those. Who knows? You never know until you try. But for now, I've just got the standard ones. We'll take a look at the puzzle itself. As you can see, it very much matches the look of the other puzzles in the family, just with 6 layers. You can probably tell that it does have a little bit more friction to it, given the additional layers past the 3x3x4. However, it's still really comfortable to solve on. I don't actually find much additional friction between the different layers. The top layers are a little bit more kind of loose feeling, just because those extensions are really sticking out pretty far at that point. But as you can see, it doesn't really affect the turning. What you will find is that they catch a little bit easier, these outer pieces. So just be careful if you're doing fast R2s and the layers aren't quite aligned, they might sort of catch a bit. But it does actually corner cut a little bit. You can kind of see, I can get away with a little bit of corner cutting, not very much, but about there is the max. So, works really well. Again, it's got that kind of clacky and fairly sharp edges, a little bit cheap feeling of the other WitEdens, but, I'm more than willing to put up with it because of the enjoyable solve and the general decent functionality of the puzzle. So, again, if you're into the series, I can easily recommend it. Definitely worth having in your collection. So, without further ado, let's do some scrambling. So, as I mentioned as well, because I do love higher order puzzles, I am planning to get my hands on the 3x3x8 and 9, possibly the 10 and 11 as well, but those are not fully proportional anymore. I'm not super bothered about that, but I do really like the look of these giant towers of pieces. So it's a little bit of a shame that they've given us a 3x3x8 fully proportional and not 3x3x9. I kind of assumed that we would get a 3x3x9 because, at least the way I understand these things, in order to deliver a 3x3x8, you need to have a mechanism that can support a 3x3x9 anyway. So, why not just give it to us? I think a lot of people would be into it. I certainly would get one. It'd be, a really impressive tower of cubies to have in the collection. Would be pretty cool. But you never know. Maybe they'll come around and give us that. I think they've had a lot of good success with their non-proportional 3x3x9 as well, so maybe that plays into it. They just, as a company, don't feel that, the outlay of manufacturing costs and everything would be worth the profit that they would make. And, you got to respect that if that's what they think is best for their business. But as a cuber and a puzzler, I'd really like to have that one. So I hope they'll reconsider at some point, just to give us that additional exciting tower of pieces for the collection. Not really paying attention to my scramble here, but I think it's pretty okay. Yeah, that's probably pretty scrambled, I think. Looks reasonable. Just try and keep these inner layers appropriately broken up. One thing I find difficult with the cuboid sometimes is just, I'm not sure what makes a good scramble. I wish somebody would do a random state scrambler. That would be pretty cool to have, but for the time being, it's hand scrambles only for us cuboid people. All right, we'll call that scrambled. Looks pretty reasonable. There we go. Okay, so once again, we're doing the same tactic as we did for the 3x3x2 and 4. So we're just going to subdivide this tower of 6 layers into 3 sets of 2. So we'll start in the middle and work outwards. So first we'll solve these 2 middle layers as a 3x3x2, then these 2, and then these 2. And then we'll deal with any parities if they arise at the end of the solve. But again, it's really not difficult to deal with those. So we've got our white center here on the bottom. So we'll start by doing, actually, no, what am I talking about? Yeah, we need to do the middle layers. I was still in the 3x3x5 mode, having finished that video a little while ago. Okay, so we want to have the correct color scheme as always. So we've got orange here. That means we need blue over here. We've got lots of blues in the wrong place. So I've got orange, blue, then we need red here, which is already in, and then green. So now our edges are in place on the bottom, and we can start putting corners in. What do we need? We got blue and red, which can go in place like so. And then blue and orange can go in like so. And then we need green and orange. Do we have that available? That's the wrong one. What about red and green? No, that's the wrong one. Okay, so we'll bring this guy out the front right corner and put him into place here. And that will retrieve the other corner that we need, which we can put in like so. There we go. So now we have the bottom layer of our first 3x3x2 done, and we need to do the top layer. So we have blue headlights, bring those over here. And once again, we've got our friendly algorithm. R2U, R2U prime, R2U prime D, R2U prime, R2U, R2. And now all of these corners are in, so you can see. And we just have to resolve these 3 edges. So let's see, we can bring the green over there by doing this. And then swap these 2 edges. There we go. So the middle 3x3x2 is done, and now we just do the same again, shifting 1 layer outwards. So what do we got? Orange, blue, that needs to be red. We'll swap that in, and this should be green, which it is. Excellent. And now that we've got these solved, we can just double check our color scheme is correct for the edges, which it is. And once again, we don't want to disrupt and re-scramble the middle layers, so we'll just keep orange to the front. To make sure that we don't mess anything up. Okay, so first we need a blue and orange corner here, which should be there. There we go. And again, these are flipped, but don't worry about it for now. We need blue and red, which is, that's not the right one. How about here? We need red and green. We don't have that one either. What do we need here? Green and orange. There we go. So we put this one in. That will retrieve the blue and red, which can go here. And then we need green and red in there. Boom. Okay. So now we have 3 layers done. Very exciting. Now we have orange headlights. These 2 need swapping. R2U, R2U prime, R2U prime, D, R2U prime, R2U, R2. Again, habitually keeping these aligned so I don't confuse myself. Oh, and now we just need to swap these 2 guys, and then we're high and dry on this 3x3x2. R2U, R2U, R2U2, R2U2, R2U, R2U prime, R2. There we go. Now we've already got parity here, but who knows? Maybe that'll fix itself when we do the last layer. Nobody knows. Okay, so now we need to do the bottom and the top as our final 3x3x2. So we've got blue, green. All right, let's just get orange in place here. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, orange is there. Okay, so now we need blue here, which is in the wrong spot. So we'll bring it over like so. Come on, there we go. When in doubt, go the other way. Okay, now we need orange, blue, red there. Which is now in, and green is already in. And then we'll line up everything nicely here. And once again, now that we already have disruption to this middle layer, we don't then want to make that worse by turning elsewhere and just re-scrambling the whole thing. So we'll stick with our orientation from before, where the orange is facing forward. Okay, so we have one corner in. This is the wrong corner. We have got green and orange, which needs to go here. We'll deal with that easily enough. Then what's this one? Green and red, which is here. There we go. One corner remaining. Excellent. Okay, and now see that parity has actually flipped. That's going to happen, so don't worry about it. Up top, we have headlights in blue, and we need to swap these two guys. R2U, R2U prime, R2U prime, D, R2U prime, R2U, R2. So how are we looking? We've got one edge in, the other edges need messing about. So R2U2, R2U2, R2U2 to swap these two edges. And now we just need to swap these two guys. R2U, R2U, R2U2, R2U2, R2U, R2U prime, R2. Top layer is done, but we have parity. Oh no, what do? Well, we do the same algorithm as before. So we do U2 with the top two layers, R2, F2, then U2 with the top two, U2 with the top layer, F2, R2, and U2 again, and we're all done. Look at that. So that's a sample solve of the WitEden 3x3x6. Very, very easy. Once you know the 3x3x4, it's basically the same, just a bit longer, and I find it quite enjoyable. But I do love higher order puzzles, so it's up to you whether you find that enticing or not. Okay, next up, I'm going to take a breather for a minute, and then we're going to do the 3x3x7. Hey folks, welcome back again. So here we are with the fully scrambled 3x3x7. I've scrambled it off camera to save you that additional time watching me move pieces around. I also needed to actually zoom out my camera because this puzzle is huge. When it's shape-shifting as well, it's hard for me to keep it centered in the frame without these little extensions sticking off the screen. Actually, I think I wasn't doing such a great job with 3x3x6 on that score, so I apologize for that. Maybe I should have zoomed out sooner, but I like that kind of close-in detailed look. Hopefully this will still be nice and visible for you. So how do we do the solve of this guy? Well, it's basically like the 3x3x5, where first of all, we need to restore the shape of the cuboid. That means we need to do a 3x3 solve, where we consider the top and bottom layers, the yellow and the white, as our top and bottom of the 3x3, and then we solve the middle layer as well. That brings us all back into cuboid shape, and then from there we do a successive series of 3x3x2 solves to complete the puzzle. So that's basically all you need to know. So we'll start with that. So we've got already our orange edge in for the cross, so we need a blue one to go next to it. So where is that? It is here. So we'll bring that up to the top layer. And so I'm going to take this solve a little bit slower because otherwise I will probably make some mistakes because this is a very big puzzle. And it's a little bit difficult to manipulate with my arms at full extension behind the viewfinder. Okay, so we've got blue now in place. We need red next to it, and that is over here. So we just need to rotate this around and drop it into place like so. And then we just need green, which is somewhere, in fact, it is here. Bring it over here, rotate it. Nope. Nope, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. Yeah, I can just do this. There we go. Okay. All right, early disaster averted. So now we need to start putting in our corners. We've got a red and green here and a orange and green here, which should go here. So let's deal with that one first, shall we? We'll just rotate it around. I think we can just drop it straight in, which we can. Now we have one corner in. Next we need blue and red to go somewhere, which would be here. Again, that can just flop straight in like that. Now we have orange and blue, which is above the right slot, but not correctly oriented. We'll just rotate it into place like so. One corner left to deal with, which is here. So we'll just flop that over to the side. Ooh. See, these long extensions, things can get a little catchy, but not too terrible. And there we go. Bottom layer is solved. So now we need to do the middle. And what I like to do as well is just get the centers appropriately lined up here with the bottom, just so we have this nice kind of visual matching here. Okay, so what do we got for our edges? We need to, once again, use the beginner's method from 3x3 to place those. We've got blue and orange here, which we can line up with the blue center like so, and it needs to go to the left. So as per before, we're going to use that simple algorithm to swap that edge into its place here on the left side. So U prime, L prime, U, L, U, oops, U, F. It's very hard to do this. U prime, go all the way around, F prime. There we go. So now that edge piece is in place. Once again, when in doubt, go all the way around. Okay, so now we need to place this green and red edge once again to the left in this slot. So same algorithm again. U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, and F prime. Why was that so much easier that time? Very mysterious. Okay, now we've got a blue and red edge conveniently removed from that slot. We'll bring that over here, and now it needs to go to the right, so we'll use our edge placement algorithm to the right side, which is U, R, U prime, U prime, come on, you can do it, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. There we go. So is that, nope, we have one more edge left to do, which is here. Once again, we need to place that to the right because of the green and orange slot. We have this big extension poking into our faces where it needs to go. So once again, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. There we go. Okay, middle layer is completely solved. So now what do we have on the top? We once again have to deal with the last layer algorithms. And once we orient the pieces on the top, we don't actually need to place them. We just orient as we would on a 3x3, and that will get us back to cuboid shape. Okay, so we have a typical case where we have two edges, adjacent edges in place, creating this kind of L shape. Not worried about the corners right now. So for that, I'm sure you all know this algorithm. Say it with me. F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. Okay, so now we need to orient these last two corners. So I tend to make mistakes with this algorithm, so let's hope that I can do it correctly. I like to try and use this opportunity to practice my 3x3 last layer stuff in this weird shape. I feel like maybe I'm imagining it, but it might give me some, better practice at conceptualizing those algorithms even when I'm not operating purely on muscle memory. So we'll see how it goes. So the way I would typically do this is I would put the two corners that are sticking out on the left side of the puzzle and the oriented edges facing towards the right here. Okay, so small r, come on, it's already going wrong. Small r, u, r prime, u prime, small r prime, f, r, f prime. Haha! There we go, my memory didn't fail me. And we're back to cuboid shape. So from here, now we do as we did with the 3x3x5. So we have, our shape is correct. We have the bottom layer is solved and the middle layer is solved, but that's going to get disrupted quite soon because we need to do these two layers as a 3x3x2, then these guys, then these guys. So let's get started. Once again, I'll keep orange to the front and make that my orientation for as much of the rest of the solve as possible, just to make sure I don't, accidentally scramble that middle layer, which would put us back to the beginning, essentially. So let's see what we got. We have all of our edges in the bottom layer of our first 3x3x2 are actually in place, which is very convenient. So let's start putting our corners in. We need orange and blue. Do we have that? We do not. What do we have here? We need blue and red. Do we have that? We do not. Oh, no, we do. Okay. Once again, the usual insertion that we use. Now we need red and green over there and not the one that's already in there. There we go. Now we need green and orange, which is here. And one more corner to go, which is conveniently right in place. There we go, 2 layers done. 5 to go. Okay. Now on our top layer of the 3x3x2, we have headlights here. So once again, we're back to our usual 3x3x2 algorithms here. So hold this middle layer so we don't disrupt anything. R2U, R2 U prime, R2 U prime, D, R2 U prime, R2 U, R2. There we go. Oh, and actually we got a skip there. We're all done. Okay, so 3 out of 7 layers complete. Now we can move on to the next 3x3x2. Unfortunately, we need to swap out these edges here, which are not correct. So we need orange, blue, red, and green. As always, this should be a blue. We'll just grab one from up here. Red, and then green. Okay, so otherwise we're all right. Now, what else do we need? We need this corner to go here, which it is. That's already correct. Then we need the other red and green corner there. That's done, and then we need green and orange, which is here. Boom. There we go. All right, so now on the top we have headlights in red. So, you know how it goes. Sing it with me. R2, U, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, D, R2, U prime, R2, U, R2. And now all of our corners are in on that top layer. So what do we need to do? We need to swap something. Okay, so we'll do an adjacent swap first to get the red into place here. R2U, R2U, R2U2, R2U2, R2U, R2U prime, R2. And yes, okay, so now we have 3 edges to go. We'll bring the blue across to there. U2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U2. And then one more adjacent swap. R2U, 2U, 2U2, R2, U2, 2U, 2U prime, R2. And we're done. Look at that. 2 layers to go, which are now the top and bottom of the puzzle. We have actually a fair chunk of the bottom layer done already, but we need a blue edge down on the bottom here, which is easy enough to grab from up top, like so. Then we want to finish off the corners. So this should go over here. Once again, have to remember not to screw anything up in that middle set of layers. And then we need to put a corner here. There we go. Now we have red headlights on the top. R2, U, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, D, R2, U prime, R2, U, R2. Woo, almost there. So we've got all our corners in position. Now, let's see, we want to, we can swap the green across here. So R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U2, and then an adjacent swap here. R2U, R2U, R2U2, R2U2, R2U, R2U prime, R2, and we're done without parities. Beautiful. Whew, I gotta say, I actually, my arms are killing me because I had to hold this heavy monstrosity way out in space here in front of the camera, but I still really enjoyed that solve. 3x3x7 is a great puzzle. I don't know what it is. Maybe just the satisfying heft and shape of it, combined with the interesting looking shape shifting, plus, having to do a little bit of a reduction process at the end. It's got a lot of ingredients that I like in a puzzle. It's kind of interesting variation of a puzzle I'm familiar with, aka the n by n cube, mixed with some shape shifting, mixed with some, interesting qualities. So I really do enjoy this. And 3x3x6 doesn't have the shape-shifting element, but I do find it also enjoyable as a higher-order extension of the 3x3x2 experience. There's just a little bit more to keep in mind with the higher-order puzzles. You need to go through it methodically, make sure you don't screw up anything you've done previously. And also, you can build on the techniques from the smaller 3x3x cuboids, but they each have a bit of their own personality. The 4 and the 6 and the 5 and the 7. So I hope that gave you some idea of what you're in for if you buy these puzzles. Again, I do strongly recommend them. Despite the sort of iffy parts of them that arise from the WitEden standards of production, I do find them really enjoyable solves. Next up, of course, would be the 3x3x8, which is fully proportional, but I do not have that one yet. It is in my shopping cart for another order, along with some other things I've got coming up. Just as a sneak preview, I do have a limited edition of the MF8 Master Face-Turning Octahedron coming my way, which is kind of almost a challenge to myself because I'm very bad at the face-turning octahedron. It's very hard for me to understand that geometry for some reason. So I thought getting a master version would really push me to develop a better understanding of how that puzzle works. So hopefully that will pay off. But as soon as that arrives, I'll show it off to you in a few weeks' time. I'm also planning to get my hands on the MF8 Icosumate, which is the deep cut icosahedron, which is related to the Pentultimate. I've also got a few other things, hopefully, that I'll pick up over the next couple of months. I'm also going to do some videos on my speed cubing collection. I'm going to try to restrict that to puzzles which I think are of interest to the general puzzling population. Basically, I kind of going to recommend some puzzles that are great speed cubes, but also just really good puzzles in general and very pleasant to use, whether you're speed solving or not, and that have a reasonable price. So I've got a few things coming up for you. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of the puzzles, what you think of the new lighting rig and all that kind of stuff. And I look forward to meeting you in the comments and also to seeing you in the next video. And until then, please take care and see you soon.